The 5 faces of darkness have arrived in the Energon universe. What's up everyone, James here, and we are back with Void Rivals. If you are new here, check out the playlist in the pinned comment below. Hit that like button if you're excited to see this new issue where things get even crazier. So the issue picks up where we left off, with Darak and Solila in prison. Darak asks Solila just how much trouble they are in. Solila answers they have the most important secret that those in power don't want to be revealed. The only way for them to guarantee that it's never spoken of again is to kill them. Darak gets pissed at Solila because the situation they find themselves in is her fault. He asks her if she's proud of the decisions she's made, and Solila admits she's not. She mentions she probably would have ended up here anyway, but apologizes to Darak for what is going to happen to him. When Darak asks, they're both going to end up dead, so that'll make them even. However, Solila reveals he still has valuable information about his people. They're going to torture him first for that information. This shocks Darak, and at that moment, the Zertonian guards enter the prison cell. They sedate Darak and take him away. After the guards leave, a woman called Mistress Vil enters. Solila asks how she get in here, and Mistress Vil answers their order goes where it pleases. That's all we get, so it's not clear if the Zertonian guards let them enter, or if they successfully snuck in unseen. Now this conversation between this new character Mistress Vil and Solila is awesome, because it reveals that Solila is an even more important character than we initially thought. Through their conversation, we learned Mistress Vil and the 2 others alongside her are part of this order called the Keepers of Light, who are followers of Zerta. Remember, Zerta is this goddess that Zertonians believe in, and is the one who supposedly showed Darak the vision of truth about the Agorians and Zertonians. We find out Solila used to be one of them. However, now she only considers herself to be a Zertonian warrior and views the Keepers as nothing but zealots. Mistress Vil tells Solila she has become what they allowed her to become. Her path has been ordained by Zerta, and she will always be a Keeper of Light. When Solila fires back saying that it is not Zerta's will you follow but your own, Mistress Vil responds that is Zalilak's poisonous words. How can one who claims to be the first chosen be so blinded by a charlatan? This reveals to us that there are factions within Zertonia who don't see eye to eye. We have the governing body headed by Premier Zalilak, and this religious group of Zerta that seems to be led by Mistress Vil. But guess what? There is another faction that we will meet by the end of this video, and it's crazy. Now, Mistress Vil's words silence Solila. Mistress Vil mentions that's the Solila she remembers, so much said without any words. Solila asks Mistress Vil why she has come to torture with her presence. That isn't her imprisonment not punishment enough? Vil essentially answers that her current situation isn't a punishment. She explains the trials she endured when she was one of them, like the Caverns of Ra, which I hope we find out what that is. And the trials she's endured till this day are gifts, because they have made her who she is today. Her current situation is no different, and this is only a detour. Mistress Vil says, it is not your destiny to die here. Soon you will resume your journey. Your path now leads to where no Zertonian has ever ventured. We are here to prepare you for what is to come, and provide you with a unique item of power that will be essential to your journey. Comment below what you all think this item of power might be. She will get something by the end of this video, but I don't think it's the item of power, I think it leads to it. You'll see what that is. Now, from here we go to Quintessa, the home of the Quintessons, where we meet with one of the Quintesson judges. This is amazing. Okay, so for those of you already familiar with the Quintessons, bear with me here while I explain who the Quintesson judge is and all the other types of Quintessons to those not familiar. Now, just like the Quintesson prosecutor we met back in issue 3, the Quintesson judge also first appeared in Transformers the movie. Quintesson judges are the leaders of the Quintesson race. They have 5 different faces, each representing an aspect of their race. The first face here speaking is the face of death. The other 4 faces have had different translations over the years since their first appearance. However, I prefer Simon Furman's translations that he gave them in the Transformers Ultimate Guide. The second face of the judge is Wrath, the third is War, the fourth is Wisdom, and the final face is Judgment. Now, whereas the Quintesson prosecutor's job is to prosecute in Quintessa's courts, judges determine the sentence of the individual on trial. However, when it comes to Quintessa's court system, they don't give those they put on trial an actual legitimate fair trial. It's essentially a kangaroo court, where the fate of the individual on trial has already been determined. The other types of Quintessons are the Quintesson bailiff, executioner, and Quintesson scientist. Also, other breeds of Quintessons are their guard unit, the Alicons, which are basically a somewhat smaller version of the bailiffs, and another breed that's left to be food for those who are unfortunately sentenced to execution by the judges are the Sharkticons. Now, what's happening here is the Quintesson judge is pissed that a certain visitor has arrived at Quintessa. This visitor is the Skuxoid, continuing to make his way through the galaxy. So, since Shockwave didn't go for his deal in the last video, he's come to Quintessa to try to get something for returning the Quintesson prosecutor. What's funny here is the Skuxoid tries to assure the Quintesson judge that he has no desire to damage their relationship since he's provided services for their kind before, which we know is BS. The judge asks him about the valuable cargo the prosecutor had on his ship that was bound for the fighting arenas of the planet Dominus. The judge calls this cargo a Quintesson Scorpia, which is the scorpion Darak and Solila battled on the Skuxoid ship. That's actually a new creation within the Quintessons that Kirkman has created, and it's pretty cool. Also, the planet Dominus the judge mentions under the control of the Quintessons is a new detail, because Dominus first appeared in the Japanese sequel series to the G1 American cartoon Transformers Headmasters. It was an alien world with extremely hazardous conditions that became home to some Cybertronian refugees led by Fortress Maximus. Fun fact, Hasbro's English name for the planet was Master, but I'm glad Kirkman went with the Japanese name Dominus. Before the Skuxoid can come up with an excuse or lie his way out, the Quintesson prosecutor reveals to the judge the Skuxoid allowed the Scorpia to be destroyed, and before he can also reveal that the Skuxoid tried to sell him to Cybertron, the judge orders him to silence. He orders the prosecutor to be taken away, and asks the Skuxoid why he should be allowed to leave Quintessa. The Skuxoid pleads for his life, and as usual, says he's just trying to make a living because he's got wife and kids to feed, man. But the judge doesn't care. As the Skuxoid is being taken away, he tries to plead even more, promising his services, all the ships in his possession, even his Rockoroid. It isn't until he says, "I have a new ship of Agorian and Zertonian origin with rare metals," that the judge orders the Alicons to stop, and asks the Skuxoid, "Did you say Zertonian?" Okay, this is nuts, and it changes my theory that I brought up back in issue 3 of the Zertonians and Agorians being such a young race in the universe that they haven't had any interactions with other species. But what if we find out they have a secret past intertwined with the Quintessons and maybe the Transformers? Maybe it has to do with the Age of Wrath. We'll just have to wait and see, but I can't wait. 3 days later, we go to Zertonia. We find Darak chained up and beaten. As Solila surmised, he's been getting tortured for information on the Agorians. He's endured the torture though, refusing to give any information. The only information he's given them is his name, station, and some smartass remarks like his relationship status. The interrogator punches him right in the face with his shock gauntlets, and then leaves him to dwell on his thoughts before the next round. While alone, Darak speaks to Handroid, asking for any weaknesses within the restraints. The only problem with that is, the Zertonians removed Handroid before they tortured him. The guy is so delirious from the torture he's endured that he forgot he isn't wearing Handroid. He kind of loses it and starts laughing. As he falls into despair, this set of red eyes appear in the darkness. This figure is revealed to be a child holding all of Darak's clothes and equipment. This child, we'll learn later, his name is Ultim. He frees Darak, but Darak wonders how he knew he was an Agorian, and isn't surprised to see his face. The child informs him that he is part of a group that knows the secret of their races. The child guides him out of the cell through some underground tunnels and leads him to this group. This group is surprisingly a Zertonian resistance faction. The leader of the faction, Canela, assures Darak he is safe. She tells him her group is called the Unifiers, who strive to end what they call a manufactured conflict between their people and unite them. She asks for Darak's help, but he refuses until they help him save Solila. When she reminds him that Solila betrayed him, Darak still remains steadfast in his decision. He says it's complicated. Whatever it is you want, no Solila, no deal. Canela replies, "Oh, so you have no clue who she really is, do you?" The issue ends with Solila in her prison cell, staring at a green key Mistress Vil gave her, decorated with the circular symbol of the Ogorians and the triangular symbol of the Zertonians. That's the end of the video. Make sure to comment your thoughts and subscribe if you want to join our journey and be part of the Beyonders. And if you want to join the upper echelons of the Beyonder Knights, consider becoming a channel member or join the Patreon like Patreon member Justin Heverly. Links in the pinned comment below. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember every day to transform and go beyond. See you later, Beyonders.